As I said, arrays are enumerable. And this means we can do some other interesting things with it. We're going to introduce you to the concept of iteration. To do this in simple terms, we're going to use a for loop. Let's imagine we want to print all of the elements of this array one by one. Because we're using strings, we can use the shortcut %W. We're going to say for animal in animals, puts animal and then end. Each element in the array will be available as a variable called animal inside our for loop. And we can do whatever we like to it inside that for loop. In this case, we're just using the puts method to print it out. You can think of what happens inside the for loop a little bit like a method, and its argument in this case is animal. The for loop is somewhat old-fashioned though. Many languages still use it, but Ruby introduces a new concept called a block iterator. The block iterator allows us to do something very similar to the for loop, but we have a slightly different syntax. Instead of using for, we'll say animals.each, and then the special keyword do passes an argument, note here it's surrounded by the pipe symbols, animal. And as with the for loop previously, we can do whatever we like with that variable animal, in this case printing it out, and finish with an end. In fact, there's even a shortcut for doing this. If we only have to do something quite simple inside our iteration, we can use curly brackets and do the entire statement on one line. This has exactly the same effect. I recommend you only use curly braces if you've got one statement. Otherwise your code can become quite unreadable. Arrays allow us to detect if an element exists inside it. We can use the .include ? Method. This is the first example you've seen of a method that has a question mark at the end. It means that we're getting a true or false answer. While there's no formal requirement for a question mark method to return a true or false, the convention is that methods should do that. So it's pretty safe to say that if you have a question mark method, it will return a true or a false. And as you might expect, just like a string, we have a .size method. And .size is equivalent to .length. Arrays, and in fact anything enumerable, including strings, can be sorted. We can call .sort on an array. Ruby will sort the array in order. The order here is a special kind of ordering called lexicographic. It means that numbers come first, followed by capital letters, followed by lowercase letters. Arrays can also be reversed, the same as strings. We can find the unique values inside an array. And we can even chain our methods together. Let's say we want to sort and then reverse. Now we have our array elements sorted in the reverse order. So the exercise for this lesson requires you to download some sample code. You can download the sample code in the resource section of this lesson. Once you have the sample code, I'd like you to print out the words one line at a time. You can use a for loop or an iterator to achieve this. Sort the words and then print again. Then I'd like you to reverse the sorted words and print again. And finally, add an extra word, remove the first element, resort, and print one last time. Take it away, and we'll go through a solution shortly.